Hello, it's Paige Green from Paige Green's Tutoring, and today we're going to be looking at angles in different types of triangles. We're first going to review the 4 different triangles you can have, and we're just going to be focusing on the properties of their angles, as that's what we're going to be looking at today. The first triangle is a scalene triangle. Now these have all different angles. Now what that means is that none of the angles are the same. The next triangle we have is an isosceles. Now here the base angles are the same. Now these angles have to be at the bottom of the 2 equal sides. So that's why we call them the base angles. A right angled triangle has a 90-degree angle, which is shown by that box there. And an equilateral triangle, all the angles are the same. Now, because all of the angles are the same, they're all 60 degrees. And that's because the rule that we need to know today is that all angles in a triangle, regardless of whether it's a scalene, isosceles, right angle, or equilateral, add to 180. That's the idea we're going to be exploring today. First of all, we're going to have a look at applying this rule in a scalene triangle, where all the angles are different. Now, we've got here a missing angle, but we have an angle of 43 and 91. So to find the missing angle, we are going to add 91 and 43 together to see what the total angles we have so far is. Now we've got 134, we're going to take that away from 180 to find the difference between the total amount of angles and the angles we've got so far. And that gives us 46. That means that this angle here must be 46. Now looking at a slightly different one, we know here that all these angles are going to add up to 180. So let's add them together. I have x plus 10, x plus 20, and x. And you can see that I've added them all together. Now let's simplify this expression that we've created. We've got x plus x plus x, so we've got 3 x's. And we've got a 10 and a 20, which gives us 30. Now we know this has to equal 180, as all the angles in a triangle add to give us 180. So what we can do now is solve this equation to find out what the x is. So I first take away 30 from both sides, leaving me with 150 and 3x. And now I can get rid of that 3 by dividing both sides by 3, which gives me 50. Now that's found what x is, but we need to find each of the angles. Well, this one here is just x, so that must just be 50. This is x plus 10, so it's 10 more than 50, which is 60. And this here is x plus 20, which is 20 more than 50, which is 70. You can see that how I've created an equation, solved it to find those missing angles. What I would like you to do now is pause the video and have a go at finding the missing angles in each of these triangles. Now for this first one, you should have just done 63, add 81 to start off with, which gives you 144. And then you're taking that away from that 180, which gives you 36. Now for the second one, you're going to have to create and solve an equation. So you've got the angles of 3x, 2x, and 2x plus 40. So we're going to simplify that down. I've got 3x plus 2x, which is 5x. Add another 2x is 7x. And then I've got that 40 left. Now I know this has to add up to 180. So I've set that equal, and now I'm going to solve it. To get rid of that 40, I'm taking it away, which leaves me with 7x equals 40. And then to get rid of that 7, I'm dividing both sides by 7, getting an answer of x is 20. Now that's not my final answer. I need to find the size of the angles. So I've got 3 lots of x, which is 3 lots of 20, which gives me 60. 2 lots of x, which is 2 lots of 20, which gives me 40. And then we've got 2 lots of x, which is 2 lots of 20, and then we're adding on 40. So 2 times 20 is 40. Add on another 40, gives me an angle of 80. Now we're going to move on to looking at isosceles triangles. Now here, I want to find the missing angle on top. I know that the base angles at the bottom of the two equal sides are the same. Therefore, this side must also be 40. Now I can say that 2 of my angles are 40, meaning so far I have 80. However, I know that the angles in a triangle must add up to 180, so I can find the difference, which means that this angle here is 100 degrees. Now for this second one, it's told me the top angle is 70, but I know these two angles at the bottom are the same. We're going to work this out slightly different. First, we're going to say, well, all of the angles must add up to 180, and I know one of them is 70, meaning that I have 110 degrees left to share out. Now, because both of those angles at the bottom are the same, I can share that 110 that I've got equally between both of those angles. That means I can do 110 divided by 2, which leaves me with 55, meaning that both of these angles here must be 55. You can see there how when we know the angle at the top, we work it out slightly differently to when we know what the angle is on the bottom. Could you now use that to have a go at these two questions, finding the missing angles in each of these triangles? For this first one, you know that this angle here must be 30, as base angles are the same. So we're taking that 30 and that 30 we have, knowing that it must be 60. And therefore, to find the missing angle, we're finding the difference between that and what we know, which is 120. Now, when the angle's on the top, we have to first take away what we know from 180, which leaves me with 120. And then because these angles at the bottom are the same, I need to share that 120 between both of those angles, which gives me an answer of 60. Last of all, we're going to look at finding missing angles in a right angle triangle. Remembering what we said at the start, this angle here is 90 degrees as it's a right angle. So to find the missing angle, all we need to do is 90 plus that 43, which gives us 133, and then we're taking that away from that 180, which leaves us with 47. Now with this other angle, I'm going to go exactly the same. I know that I've got 180 and I know that this angle here is 90. So therefore I've got 90 degrees left. But we know that 4x and that 5x there must be equal to that 90 degrees that we have left over. So therefore 9x is equal to 90. Now to solve this, I just need to divide both sides by 9, which leaves me with x equals 10. Therefore, we can say that this angle here is 4 lots of the 10, which is 40, and this angle here would be 5 lots of the 10, which is 50. Now could you have a go at these two questions using what we've just looked at there? For this first one then, we're saying we've got an angle of 90 and 67. So far we have 157 in our triangle. So we want to find the missing angle by taking that away from that 180, which leaves us with 23. Next one, we know the angles in the triangle must add up to 180, and we already know that this angle here is a right angle of 90 degrees. Therefore, what is left over must equal 90 degrees. So I've got 3x plus next, which is 4x plus 10. Now I can go ahead and solve this. So I'm going to take away 10 from both sides, which leaves me 4x equals 80. And then I can divide by 4 to leave me with x equals 20. Therefore, this angle must be 10 more than 20, which is 30. And this one here is 3 lots of that 20, which is 60. So hopefully that's helped you have a bit of an idea of different angles in different triangles and how we can work them out differently. I didn't have a look at equilateral triangle because equilateral triangles are always the same. They always have an angle of 60 and they're all 60 as well. Thank you for watching this video and hopefully see you in the next one.